It's the most wonderful time of the year, college football bowl season, baby. And there are 42 bowl and playoff games to keep us entertained for almost 3.5 weeks. Starting with Toledo versus Middle Tennessee State and going through the national championship on Monday, January 10th, pick your favorite WagerTalk or SportsMemo handicapper and get every college football bowl game they release, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $35 for the low price of $149. As an added bonus, make sure to download the free WagerTalk College Football Bowl Guide by going to wt.buzz/rm. From everyone at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo, good luck this college football bowl season.
Hey guys, Carmine Bianco, WagerTalk.com. This is the EPL edition of Stoppage Time. A lot of midweek games, including one canceled one that was supposed to go today. Brentford and Man United canceled due to COVID. That could be something that is going to continue to happen. And we're seeing it happen across quite a few different sports. Hopefully it doesn't. But anyways, 3 games to discuss on today's card. 3 midweek games. Arsenal, West Ham, Chelsea, Everton, and Leicester City and Tottenham. To discuss those games from WagerTalk.com, it's Kevin, Dolan, and Nick Borrman. And from SportsMemo, my favorite guy, Pavlos, Laguretos. Let's bring them in, guys. What can I say, man? Midweek games, Champions League obviously is on hold until the knockout stages recommence in February. And I'm going to have a great deal for you guys shortly on that. But how about that Champions League draw, Kev? It was one of the, I woke up, it was 6 o'clock Eastern time in the morning, that draw. And literally from the get-go, I just thought to myself, these guys look like they just got out of bed, threw on their suits, and they rushed to do this draw. And it turns out that it seemingly, they blamed it on a technical error, but they voided the original draw that ended with PSG and Man United drawing in that round of 16 game, which would have put Messi and Ronaldo on the field again one last time, probably over the course of 2 games. But they voided it, redrew, and now we've got some pretty interesting matchups. Did you get a chance to see the draw, or did you hear about the draw, or see it on YouTube?
Oh yeah, for sure. I actually seen the first one, and it was bizarre. But I don't think a lot of clubs will be overly concerned from what they faced in the initial drop. Possibly Real Madrid might have some complaints. I probably think Juve are a bit happier as well. Might still have a few nightmares about facing Portuguese opposition. So I'd say they're happier facing Villarreal possibly. But there is some really interesting games on tap. Obviously, from a fan perspective, Real Madrid versus PSG, probably the one that stands out the most from a star-studded lineup perspective.
How is this up?
But that's probably the tie that offers the most glamour appeal. But yeah, seeing the tie, and there's some definitely mouthwatering matches to look forward to.
Nick, your thoughts on not only the draw but some of the possible matchups? I think while Liverpool are one of the favorites, that draw against Inter Milan, who are playing some pretty good football right now, is a good one. Obviously, the PSG Real Madrid one is a good one, and it didn't get any easier for Man United going from Villarreal, who they could never play because they played against them in the group stage play, to PSG, but now playing the Spanish champions, Atletico Madrid.
I think there was probably one of the guys in the draw room that had a ticket. They did not like the results of that first draw, so a simple technicality gets you to redo that, and maybe they're sitting better with their long-term ticket now. But I think the teams that have stood out this year are clear and obvious. It's Liverpool, it's Bayern, and it's City, and it's hard to imagine any one of those three not winning this thing. Chelsea defending champs, but they don't look like the same Chelsea from last year. Ajax is my favorite team to watch. I'm going to be trying to pick my spots with them and hope they can make another run. They looked fantastic during that group stage, so excited to watch them go. I like their first round matchup against Benfica, so I think they can get past them, and then we'll see what happens from there. But it'll be exciting. For now, we get couple domestic leagues for midweek, and then of course the holiday break coming up. So interesting time for some soccer, but looking forward to the next month for sure.
Yeah, and before we get to those midweek soccer games, we have to get Pavlos in on this conversation. Pavlos, you watched the draws in the past, and I'm not sure if you can clarify this, but I was pretty sure in the past with these round of 16 draws that they had pot A, which was all the group winners, and they would draw a name out of the group winners first, and then the possible outcomes for them would get put into another pot of teams that they could face. They did it the other way around. They were drawing the names of a second place finishing team and then drawing one of the possible group winners that they could face.
Yeah, I don't know if this was incompetence or just straight up rigging. I don't want to say big, make accusations or anything, but that's not the first time UEFA do something weird in their draws. I mean, if you remember from a couple of years ago, they were using cold balls and hot balls in those bowls. So one could say that these things are rigged, but we don't know for sure. But it's a really weird situation because that there is supposed to be like a lot of people preparing those the bowls and the winners and the tickets and the whatever. There's a lot of work that goes on in these in the organization part of this deal. So it's really weird to see that failing. So I wouldn't judge anyone by thinking that this was a clean draw. So I like the draws here now. What's really interesting is the matchup between Salzburg and Bayern Munich. This should have an awful lot of goals. I'm not so fond of the other ones. I like Ajax much like Nick. Chelsea is in a weird situation with Lille. Atletico Madrid and Manchester United should be a really, really exciting match to watch. Villarreal and Juventus, I hate both teams. I mean, they're really unimpressive this season. Maybe Villarreal can bury Juventus. Sorry, Carmine. But yeah, PSG versus Real Madrid should be the couple to watch. So yeah, super excited.
Yeah, listen, you're not going to offend me by mentioning the draws for Juventus, as I discussed with Kev in the production room earlier. The last 3 years, everyone thinks that they've drawn a light team. They faced Ajax 3 years ago and eliminated. They faced Lyon 2 years ago, eliminated, and then last year Porto and eliminated. And all three times, the game was Leg 2 game was at home. So drawing Villarreal this time around is not an easy one for them. I just don't know what's wrong with this team. It's probably the midfield. But with that said, guys, let's get right to it. The first game, Arsenal and West Ham. Let's have a quick look at the prices of this game. Arsenal plus 113. The draw is plus 274. West Ham is plus 250. Nick and Pavlos, you guys are going to look at this game. Arsenal come off a win on the weekend against Southampton, but they've been struggling of late, mainly on the road. Losses to Everton, Man United, and Liverpool in their last 3 road fixtures. But they're at home where they have been playing well. It's the Arteta way. I think they've won their last 4 games, playing exceptional. Last 10 games at home in all competitions, including like a club friendly. They've gone 9 wins, 1 draw. Nick, what's your take on this game?
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. Their home away splits have been very home friendly. And, if we look back at the beginning of this season, if we're breaking down this game, let's start with the first couple games of the season. I probably can't fade Arsenal fast enough. I think we'd all agree with that. They came out looking awful. The Hammers had jumped out to a very fast start. They were atop the Premier League table for the first few games, but flash forward to now, and the Gunners are the team in better form, and I believe the team to play on here in this game. We've all talked about it a little bit. Carm, you've brought this up several times, and the fact that Arsenal does not have any European duties this season, I think, is a big reason why. West Ham, I mean, a lot of these games that I've been looking at the last week to 2 weeks, the teams that are playing, I mean, there's very few teams that are getting through the European schedule along with the domestic schedule well on both sides. You're seeing a lot of teams start off the season well and then really start to fade a little bit. West Ham is no different going on right now. And I think, that's a big – obviously the group stage is behind them now, but they're still in that fixture congestion where they haven't made up for that yet. And Arsenal's fresh, and they've been able to rotate their players or not have to rotate their players and been able to really focus on these games. The Hammers won the Europa, but, they've dropped a lot of points in the EPL. Over the last 5 Premier League games, they have just one win, which did come at home against Chelsea, but they lost at Wolves, at Man City, which is no big deal. But they also settled for draws against Brighton and Burnley. On the other side, Arsenal, Carm, you mentioned it, they have 3 losses in the last 5 games, but all 3 were on the road. But at home, lights out. They are tied with Man City for the best home record in the league this year at 6-1-1 with a +9 goal differential. Their loss came in their very first game against Chelsea, and they've since gone unbeaten in 9 straight games, including 2 cups, with 8 wins and 1 draw. Granted, the competition has been weak, so that's one thing I want to note there. But they have done exactly what they should be doing. Head-to-head, though, Arsenal have won 6 straight home games over West Ham and 11 of the last 12. So another reason I like the Gunners here. Not a huge play for sure, but small plus price. I'll lean towards the Gunners to take care of business in this one.
All right. That's Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com. Pavlos, listen, I have mad respect for this Hammers team, West Ham. They've been playing well. Great start to the season. They seem to be dropping off a bit, and it's also has to do with a condensed schedule, some Europa League play as well too. A 1-1-2 record their last 4 in Premier League. Actually, I think it's a 1-3-2 record. Give me your thoughts on this team.
Yeah, well, you guys just mentioned all my talking points. Actually, most of my talking points about the records, about how Arsenal are very good at home against West Ham. And overall, I think they've lost just one of their last, maybe 10 matches against West Ham, something like that. But they're really, really, really great at home against West Ham. They've only lost one of the last, I think it's 11 or 12 matches with a lot of clean sheets there. Arsenal, they play very good at home. West Ham also play very good on the road. They're tied for the second best away record in the Premier League so far with 4 wins, 2 losses and 2 draws. Now, when Arsenal play at home, they don't concede a lot. They're coming off 4 straight clean sheets. West Ham on the road, they're also quite careful on the defense. They have only conceded 7 goals on the road, while Arsenal have conceded just 6 goals at home. What I would really like to say here is the fact that Arsenal recently they fined Aubameyang for breaching protocols, and that's not the first time this happens. They stripped him of the captain, rights. So there's a couple of weird stuff going on in the Arsenal background. That's not the first time they fined Aubameyang for breaching protocols. They also did so in last March when he was suspended from the North London derby against Tottenham for arriving late in a team meeting. So that's not what you want from your captain, for any player, but even more so from your captain. So he also got that too when there were strict protocols in England. So he had it coming. There's no word about the new captain, but Arsenal have a bad history in choosing captains. The previous captain was Granit Xhaka, who was also stripped of the captain badge for telling the Arsenal fans to F off when he was subbed, and they booed him. So and even the captain before that was Laurent Koscielny, the French guy who went on a strike because he wanted a transfer to Bordeaux or something. So let's see who the next captain is. But as far as this match goes, I'll take the under 2 3/4 goals, 2.75 goals. I really love that bet. Maybe if Aubameyang was here, I would take Arsenal money line, but I think the price would be a little different. But even without Aubameyang, they played greatly against Southampton. They scored 3 goals, which goes to show that they have other offensive weapons than Aubameyang, who hasn't been great this season. So I think I'll take the under 2 3/4 goals here, and hoping for a maximum of 3 goals here.
All right, Pavlos Laguretos of SportsMemo with his take on the Arsenal and West Ham game that goes in midweek. Guys, it's $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo. $2 Tuesdays where you get featured cappers play for only $2. Those are plays that normally go for $25 or $35. There's a lot of action both at WagerTalk and SportsMemo. At WagerTalk, it's Tony Mieja. Hopefully I didn't butcher his name, with an NBA best bet. You can get that for only $2 today. And Ralph Michaels with a college bowl game. You can get his best college bowl game for only $2. Along with those plays, there are some great promos over at SportsMemo. If you watch John Ryan TV, the crew have $2 plays up. Rocky Atkinson, John Ryan, and I believe Don Buster as well. So head over to SportsMemo and you can take advantage of that and the deals that are within those packages as well. All right, guys, game number 2. This is Chelsea and Everton. Let's have a quick look at the numbers for this one. Chelsea, a minus 395 favorite, the draw plus 535. And if you love Everton, then you are getting one heck of a price at plus 1364 on that one. Kevin and I will look at this one. And all I'm going to say first off, before we get into this game, is like, if you looked at this game early on in the season, you might have said this is going to be a great midweek matchup. But man, the Toffees have really fallen off. They've gone 7 losses, 2 draws. Their only win in their last 10 games was a last-minute winner at home against Arsenal a couple games back. Things are tough for Rafa Benitez in Everton, but he's been given the vote of confidence. But it gets even tougher for him in midweek. Here are the players that are missing for this Everton team. Calvert-Lewin, he remains out. Tom Davies, knee injury. Luka Dean, suspended. Yerry Mina, injured. And likely Richarlison out with a calf injury. That's their scoring. That's their midfield. That's their back line. There's not much help, and they're heading to play a Chelsea team that have been a little leaky of late, allowing 5 goals in their last couple of games, but still only 11 goals allowed this season, the second lowest to Man City, who have allowed 9, and 11 wins in 16 games. This team is playing extremely well. For me, there's only one way to play this. You can't take the dog here. You're taking Chelsea. The goal line is 1.75, which is a split line of -1.5 and -2. And that's likely where I'll go. I'll lay the -1 3/4 goals. I'll take the exact score as a prop, 3-0 plus 700. And if you believe it's going to go over the total, you can take Chelsea and the over 2.5 at -110. So those are 3 bets I'll be making on this game. It's Chelsea for me in midweek. Kev, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, same, Carmine. It's difficult for me to see anything other than a Chelsea victory here myself on Thursday. But as you said, not that it's been plain sailing for this Chelsea side by any means of late. Just 2 wins over the last 5 games and all. They didn't keep a clean sheet across any of those games either. So there are potentially some chinks starting to show in this Chelsea defence of late. Leeds managed to put 2 past them at the weekend as well. So, even with Everton's list of injuries heading into this one, especially in forward areas, I could definitely see the Toffees getting on the score sheet here. I'm pushing this one over the total. Chelsea and the both teams to score prop, I believe, is going off at a plus 240. Obviously, with all the injuries that Everton have up front, they're not expecting Everton to score here. So I like that price. With Calvert-Lewin, now potentially with Richarlison as well, missing up front for the Toffees here. The books are expecting Everton to be stunted up front, but they've still got a ton of weapons in attacking areas. Damari Gray, Andros Townsend, and so on. So I don't think it'll be completely plain sailing for Chelsea here. So as we all know, look, Everton's problems are mostly coming on the defensive end this season. They've given up the 4th most goals per game out of any team this year in the Premier League. They've given up 9 goals over the last 4 road games as well. So, while I do like Chelsea to get the outright win here, I think you simply got to mix goals in here as well in order to boost that price. You can't be going around laying -390s here on any team in the Premier League. The plus 240 I mentioned earlier on Chelsea to win the both teams to score is a good way to approach it in my eyes. The both teams to score on its own is going off at a plus 137. Over 2.75, I quite like that as well. So a few ways to get involved here, but the main thing is, you got to be continually updating that data. Since November 1st, Chelsea actually ranked bottom half in the league on expected goals against at home. So to have it in your mind consistently that this team are just an absolute defensive juggernaut, fair enough, they are for the most part. But that simply hasn't been the reality over the last month and a bit. So, yeah, Chelsea for me, plus goals, plus the over, both teams to score. I like any kind of combination of those bets. So that's the way I'm going to play this one.
All right. Kevin Dolan, WagerTalk.com. And Kev, I think we agree on it. And, we joked around on the weekend. Chelsea got the 3-2 win over Leeds. Jorginho with 2 penalty kicks in that game. It's nice to see him getting the penalty kicks for Chelsea. He couldn't score them for Italy in those 2 games against Switzerland, and this is why we're stuck playing in the World Cup playoffs to even get into the World Cup next season. So we'll see how Chelsea do in midweek. Guys, before we head to the third game, Leicester and Tottenham, I want to tell you we talked about Champions League and that draw to kick off the show. We've got a great package up. You can head over to WagerTalk.com to any one of the cappers pages who are on this show or Sports Memo. And in the soccer drop-down menu, you can get the UEFA Knockout package. It's normally $279, but for a limited time only, you can use knock 100 and knock $100 off that price. So it'll only be $179. You're going to get every play during the knockout stages right to the May 28th final for Champions League. And on top of that, we're going to include all of the Europa League knockout games and all of the Europa Conference League knockout games. So you're going to get a ton of action. Those knockout stages begin in February, the first week of February, second week of February, and go right till May. So you're literally getting plays for all of the UEFA competitions for the next 3-4 months, all in that package for only $179. It's an absolutely great deal, and I'm going to keep that coupon active until Sunday at midnight. So take advantage of that, guys. All right, let's head over to the final game, Leicester City and Tottenham. Odds here, Leicester plus 109 at home. The draw is plus 272. Tottenham plus 231. Nick, I'm going to throw it to you on this one. Leicester playing a lot better. Tottenham feels like they haven't played in a while. Again, also a COVID game. A couple of cancellations for them, one in Europa Conference League and one in Premier League this past weekend. Give me your thoughts on this one.
First, a disclaimer on the UEFA package, Carm, is that it will not feature any Tottenham games because they could not qualify from the Europa Conference because they suck. So just want to put that out there. All right. Every game Leicester is playing right now is just flying over the total. They've now played 7 straight overs, including a couple Europa games where they ended up falling short in their group. They finished third, so they're going to fall down to the Europa Conference League. All the extra reps I mentioned in the preview of the Arsenal-West Ham game could be hurting Leicester's defense here. They've conceded at least 2 goals in 5 of those last 7 games. Then you have the Spurs, who I mentioned, they just don't look good. They couldn't even qualify out of that Europa Conference League group. While I respect Conte much more than Nuno as a manager, Tottenham to me is still a pretender in terms of being one of the big 6 in this league, and their play so far this season has really just shown that. Most of their success has come at home. While on the road, they've allowed 1.47 expected goals per game in the Premier League, and they've kept just 3 clean sheets in 12 games in all competitions. Historically, this matchup has produced plenty of goals as well, as 7 of the last 9 have finished over this total, including 4 of the last 5 at Leicester. So I think this is a pretty simple play. I think just the way Leicester's playing and the way their defense has looked, I think we're going to see a lot of goals, or at least a lot of chances that hopefully turn into goals in this game. So I think at 2.5 or even 2 3/4, taking the over, I think it's worthy of a play, and that's how I'm going to attack this one.
All right. I like that idea, Nick. Pavlos, thoughts on this game?
Game will take place because there are a lot of injuries and a lot of COVID cases in both sides. I mean, Leicester have at least, I think it's 11 players. Most of them are out with illness. And Tottenham have 7 or 8 players, and most of them are out with COVID. So maybe, I don't know, both teams are in the brink of, if they get a couple of more COVID positives, the match is going to be suspended. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Tottenham will operate with, after having not played their last two matches, which could be either very good or very bad. Nick made some great comments about the terrible Leicester defense. I mean, their clean sheet against Newcastle over the weekend was their first after 17 matches in all competitions, and the one before that was against Millwall in the Carabao Cup. So just a terrible defense. And Tottenham, I mean, they haven't been very good on the road. They have 2 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. They have scored just 5 goals, but is this viable? I mean, at some point, Son and Kane are gonna come to life, I guess. Of course, Son is out with an illness, so it's gonna be interesting to see the lineups in this match. But with Leicester conceding goals left and right, especially they concede 2 or 3 goals, multiple goals in a lot of their matches, and Tottenham, they're not as bad as their away form suggests. While Leicester, they're also really good at home. They have 4 wins, 3 losses, and a draw, but those 3 losses came against Chelsea, Arsenal, and Manchester City. So, and they also have 1 more win and 3 draws in other competitions at home. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Leicester won this one, but I couldn't agree more on the over. Of course, Leicester like their overs this season. Tottenham are more like an under team. But 7 of the last 9 matches between the two sides had over 2.5 goals, and 6 of those had both teams to score. So quite possibly a combination of both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, or the simple over 2.5 goals, or even the over 2 3/4 goals is the way to go here.
All right, Pavlos. And listen, I tend to agree with the stuff you guys are saying. I think everyone, including myself, thought that with Antonio Conte coming over to manage a side that they would get better, and they seem to be getting better. But I think it's still a very big uphill battle for this team. And maybe, as Nick said, with Tottenham not being in any European competition, they can focus on the Premier and getting back up those standings. Guys, we're going to head into the best bets segment of the show. We're going to give you some games for this weekend that we like across some of the top European leagues. We'll kick it off with Kev. Kev, you are going to Italy for a Serie A fixture. Tell us what you got, and tell us what you have loaded up at WagerTalk.
Yeah, it's been a while actually, Carmine, but spent the weekend digging into the old system again. Updated all my European angles, and we actually have a few standout bets this weekend. The one I like the most for the free play, however, is the outright draw in the Sassuolo-Fiorentina game over in Italian Serie A on Sunday. The angle's simple, competitively away price road dogs in Italy, where the over is expected to hit as well. I've been an absolute goldmine in Serie A going back multiple seasons. Over the last 170 times it's happened. Back in the outright draw, no scenarios have seen backers up over 54 units of profit. For a 31.8% total yield, which, nothing to be sniffed at there. So you need to hold your nose with these ones. You're invariably going to miss more than you hit, but because of the huge prices on offer, stick with the program, and that's some serious profit. You're going to amass long term. I'll also say, look, anyone interested in hearing the full parameters of that particular system, what prices the road dog has to fall between, what the minimum price and the over has to be, and so on, feel free to hit me up over on Twitter. I'll be more than happy to share all the details. So, Sassuolo-Fiorentina outright draw this weekend at plus 275. That's the best bet for the show. At the minute, we're working on some NFL for the weekend. We also have a college bowl game up for Friday that's up right now. And we should have our soccer done, midweek soccer pack done in a few hours as well. So looking forward to all those.
All right. Kevin Dolan, WagerTalk.com. Outright draw. I love it. I remember you were hitting those pretty well. I was taking advantage of some of those plays to pad the bankroll. So let's hope you hit another one. Nick, you're staying in Italy. You're heading another Serie A matchup. Tell us what you got and what's up at WagerTalk.
Yeah, staying in Italy for this one. Before I get to that, I do have a 5% play going today. So you can make sure to have our page at WagerTalk.com to check that out. And I'll have another one loaded for the weekend. So definitely a good time to check out a longer-term package. Sunday Serie A, looking at 2 of the best teams here in the league this year, Napoli at AC Milan. Both teams could not lose to start the season. But as the theme of all my games I've covered so far today, it seems they're both struggling right now, and probably fixture congestion has something to do with it. AC Milan has just 3 wins in their last 9 games between Serie A and the Champions League, while Napoli has just 2 wins in their last 8 games between Europa and Serie A. Both teams here are very evenly matched. Napoli does have the slightly better defensive numbers so far this season, and I just really like to grab the plus goals on that better defense. They're number 1 in Serie A in expected goals allowed, allowing just 0.79. AC Milan is not bad by any means. They're at 1.13 expected goals allowed. Actual goals scored shows Napoli allowing only 13, also number 1 in the league, while AC Milan has allowed 19. Historically, though, Napoli catching goals seems like a must-play here. AC Milan has just 1 win in the last 13 Serie A meetings between these two, and just 2 wins in the last 20 meetings. So I'm going to grab the small plus quarter goal line number on Napoli, on the team with a better defense and with history on our side in this match.
All right. Pavlos, another visit to Italy for you, my friend. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, they say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we're still going with the Fiorentina-Sassuolo match. I mean, Sassuolo, I personally bet on them every week. They're on my best bet section. I think it's the 3rd or 4th time this season. I'm taking both teams to score and over 2.5 goals here. Fiorentina, they're coming off another home win. They beat Salernitana by 4-0. That's their 5th in a row and 6th in 8 league matches at home so far. They have kept 3 clean sheets at home, but those clean sheets came against Salernitana, Spezia, and Cagliari, which are 3 of the 4 worst teams in the league right now. They don't have a very good defense, and they should not be able to keep a clean sheet against this Sassuolo side. Sassuolo are coming off a nice win against Lazio. They went down in the first half, but then they scored 2 in the second half, and they won by 2-1. That was their 11th consecutive match with both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, and the 14th in 17 matches this season. So, and when you look at their away numbers, all 8 of their away matches had both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. 5 of those also had over 3.5 goals. Sassuolo, they have scored 2+ goals in 6 of their 8 away matches and in each of their last 5, and they have conceded 2+ goals in 6 of their 8 away matches as well. So 4 of the last 6 matches between the two sides had both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, and I expect something similar on Sunday, so I'm taking both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at -125.
All right, Pavlos Laguretos of Sports Memo, taking advantage of that Sassuolo goal machine. The overs have been great with that team. I've been taking advantage of them. So the 3 guys on the show all head to Italy. The Italian is going elsewhere. I'm going to go back to the Premier League, and I'm going to go to a game this weekend with Aston Villa. Listen, the new manager angle, we see it each and every season. Some point during the season, a team struggles, brings in a new manager. It's Steven Gerrard for Aston Villa. They played so much better since he took over the team. 3 wins in their 5 games, 2 losses, respectable losses, 1-0 to Liverpool this past weekend and 2-1 to Man City. Those teams sit first and second atop the Premier League. And then you look at, they're facing a Burnley team that just does not score goals. This is why they are 18th in the league. They defend well, but they just don't score goals. On the road, 0-4-4 thus far this season. Last 10, 1 win, 8 draws. This is a draw team if I've ever seen one. And it's probably why the line on this Aston Villa game is as low as it is. But I've just got to go with a team that is playing some better football right now and take Villa at home. This is an important 3 points for them just to get into that middle of the table and get closer to that safety zone for a team that struggled a lot under Smith. So give me Villa -128 to win this weekend. All right, guys, we're going to close off the show. We'll be back next Tuesday with some more midweek games. But don't forget, it's $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo. You can get a featured Capper's Place for only $25 and $35. Tony Mieja and Ralph Michaels at WagerTalk. Tony's got an NBA play-up. Ralph has a college play-up. And over at Sportsmemo, if you watch John Ryan TV, the crew is on with $2 plays. You've got Rocky Atkinson, John Ryan, and Don Buster. You can get those. And of course, before we sign off and wish you luck with your plays, don't forget the UEFA special. Use knock 100s up on the screen, and you can get every single UEFA Champions League, Europa League, and Europa Conference League play for only $179 when you use coupon knock 100. Guys, as always, good luck with the midweek and weekend games, and we'll see you next Tuesday, 10 a.m.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, college football bowl season, baby. And there are 42 bowl and playoff games to keep us entertained for almost 3.5 weeks. Starting with Toledo versus Middle Tennessee State and going through the national championship on Monday, January 10th, pick your favorite WagerTalk or SportsMemo handicapper and get every college football bowl game they release, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $35 for the low price of $149. As an added bonus, make sure to download the free WagerTalk College Football Bowl Guide by going to wt.buzz/rm. From everyone at WagerTalk and SportsMemo, good luck this college football bowl season.